Now, you could say that we're in a golden age for performance sports sedans, and I wouldn't argue with you. On the one hand, you have the traditional players who are offering things from BMW and Mercedes, and on the other hand, you have Genesis and other new upstarts trying to crowd in on that space. And they're all doing a similar thing. They're giving you a car which on the one hand is luxurious and has that same sort of kudos that you'd expect and would impress down at the golf club, or just on the driveway for the neighbours. And on the other hand, when the roads get twisty and more entertaining, you have something which is more rewarding to drive. And maybe you don't have the budget for two cars, and maybe you don't have the garage space for two. But that's a really difficult challenge. And into that challenge wades this, the brand new Audi S6. Now, it's hotter than a regular A6, but not quite as hot as an RS6. And that means it has to straddle a line between performance and luxury. And that's easier said than done. So the question is, I think the S6 looks good, but does it drive as good as it looks? A moment of silence, please, for the old 4-litre V8 engine. That's gone in this generation. It's replaced by a 2.9-litre V6 with twin turbochargers, and it's actually a hybrid. They put an electric compressor on top of the turbochargers and use the 48-volt electrical system to spin them up faster. Now, it means that Audi can actually promise almost 20% more efficiency from the engine, but without a loss in performance. You get 444 horsepower, 443 pounds per foot of torque, so this is not a slow car. Now, the standard car gets air suspension, and it's a really good system. It means that in comfort mode it wafts along like an A6, and in dynamic mode everything gets noticeably tighter. Audi will offer a steel sports suspension package too, but to be honest with you, I don't think most people should choose it. It's certainly the stiffest and the most sporting of the setups, but it also means that you lose out on some of the comfort that people buying an S6 also want as well. One of the things that Audi seems to just nail every time with the S-Series is that duality of modes. On the one hand, you can drive the S6 just like a regular Audi and get a luxury car experience. On the other, you can hit the drive select mode buttons, put it into dynamic, and then everything tightens up just enough to have some fun, but without you feeling like you're going to go hurtling off the side of the road if you're not paying attention. One of the biggest improvements is here in the cabin. The previous S-Line models, the old S6 was showing its age, let's say. It didn't have the digital cockpit, it didn't have any of the new MMI system. That's all been changed in this generation. You get lots of screens, lots of tech. It's as gadgety as you'd expect an Audi to be. In the US, the S6 is priced from $73,900 in Premium Plus trim or $77,800 for the Prestige. The standard equipment is plentiful for that, with leather S sports seats and a heated steering wheel as standard. MMI navigation is standard too, combining a 10.1-inch touchscreen and an 8.6-inch touchscreen underneath. Apple CarPlay and Android Auto are standard, while a Bang & Olufsen 3D audio system is optional, as is a head-up display. Audi Virtual Cockpit is on every S6. In the rear, there's ample legroom and headroom, helping set the S6 apart from its S7 sibling. As sports cars go, this is one where the family is welcome too. Now, my takeaway for the new S6 is that all of a sudden this is a car worth paying attention to. The old A6, it was showing its age. Inside it was a button fest. It just didn't feel quite as up-to-date as Audi's reputation demanded and as the rivals were forcing it to be. Now, the new A6 raised that game considerably, and the S6 does that again. It does a really, really good job of being both a performance car and a luxury car, and if that's what you're looking for and you like the looks, this is a really good place to start for that performance driving, luxury driving feel.